Some of the big mistakes that I see out there, and oh, by the way, I see experienced executive coaches making these mistakes as well. The first is thinking that coaching's about them. Now, I understand that you've got to have a conviction about yourself. You've got to believe in yourself if you're going to be an effective coach. Otherwise, that's certainly going to come through to that executive. But it's very, very important that you have a balanced ego here. It's not about you. This is a journey that you're gonna partner with that executive hip to hip, and they need to feel really comfortable walking that journey with you. The second thing that I see is that you don't want to come across as a psychologist. Coaching's not about being a psychologist. It's about conducting a process that unlocks and unleashes that executive so they do become the best that they can be. I think the third mistake that I see is talking too much. And it can be in a one-on-one session or a virtual session. You have to be comfortable with silence, and you have to be comfortable listening. The fourth is charging fees without proving results. And I principally see this with newer coaches. In fact, I tell in my coaching work, as I work with coaches, that you should put your fees at risk. Do not be afraid to put your fees at risk early on until you prove that you've moved the needle. Do not be afraid to do that. And I've seen some outstanding executive coaches, some of the best in the world, actually put their fees at risk. So don't be afraid to do that. I think another mistake is not being clear on mutual responsibilities. You should have an agreement right up front about who's going to do what, when, where, why, and how. I think another mistake that I see is that executive coaches sometimes, when it comes to writing the individual leadership development plan, they end up doing the work. That's not your job. It's the job of the executive to write their individual leadership development plan based upon all the assessments and all the feedback. It's their job to write it with your support. Not having a real tight process around leveraging feedback and next steps is another mistake that I see. Wasting a leader's valuable time. Leaders have very, very little time. Some of the best executive coaching assignments I've ever done are ones in which I spend actually very little time with a leader. That's the goal, not to spend too much time. The other mistake is not asking for referrals. When you've done a good job, don't be afraid to ask for referrals and endorsements so that you can go on to your next coaching assignment.